This is Fearless Rebel Radio, a podcast about body positivity, self-worth, anti-dieting, and feminism. I am your host, Summer Inanen, a professionally trained coach specializing in body image, self-worth, and confidence, and the best-selling author of Body Image Remix. If you're ready to break free of societal standards and stop living behind the number on your scale, then you have come to the right place. Welcome to the show. This is episode 152, and it's a special episode because I am back with 5 incredible women whose stories I know are going to resonate with you. These are 5 women who worked with me over the last 2 to 3 years in the You on Fire program. You will be able to find all the links mentioned in this episode at summerinanen.com/152. It is so exciting for me to be able to catch up with these women. I'm just so grateful that they took the time to have these conversations with me. The best part of my job is witnessing the changes that happen in the women that I work with. They really do become free and liberated. And what's so amazing is, and that's what you'll hear in these stories, is it's not about the individual impact. Like, you'll hear them talk about how they were able to wear a bikini or feel comfortable in their skin. But what you're really going to hear a deeper level of is just how much more they were able to live fully in their lives. So whether that was by starting their own business or by moving across the world and taking a new job or being more social with their friends or standing up and for themselves and advocating for their health or becoming advocates for social justice or taking on new adventures and hobbies, like all of these things and in all of these ways is how they start to really leave a different kind of mark on this world by no longer hiding. And I truly believe, and I know that this is how we change the culture. And I'm so much more fired up about this now that I have a child, because I don't want the next generation going through the same thing that we went through. I don't want them to have parents who eat a different dinner than them because they're on a keto diet, or who criticize their bodies in front of them. Or I don't want children seeing their parents step on the scale. And even if you don't have kids, I'm sure you have people in your life who have kids, or you have nieces or nephews or friends who have kids, or you just know children, or you're a teacher. We all are having an influence on the next generation. And that's why I just think we need to do this work. We need to do this work for ourselves in order to change that next generation. I don't want to see kids dieting. I want to see businesses like Weight Watchers app Kurbo go out of business, because all it is doing is perpetuating weight stigma and keeping us oppressed. And so when we open our eyes to the ways in which we've been oppressed and we say, I'm not going to take this anymore, it can really result in incredible things. And it's the impact that we leave on others, and that creates that ripple effect to others and this world. And that's why, I don't think this work is really just about doing body image for ourselves. That's the start of it. It's really doing this work to then change the world, change the people around us, change the next generation. And I do this work because when I look at you, listener, I see that you are inherently worthy. And I know that it's possible for you to believe that in yourself and fully experience life without letting your body hold you back. And so that's why I love sharing these stories with you. And in particular, this time around, it's really cool because these are people who did the program 2 or 3 years ago. So normally when I do one of these spotlight episodes, which I've done many of them before, I do them after the last cycle of the program. But since I was on maternity leave for a year and a half, or not a year and a half, a year. But since the last time I ran the program was a year and a half ago, and I did a spotlight with some of the people that finished that cycle of the program, I wanted to catch up with some people who had done it in 2017 and 2016 to really see, okay, what's the long-term impact? Let's catch up. Let's see where you're at. Let's see what's changed. Let's see what's stuck. And it's so amazing to hear how far they've continued to go. So not just in that short period of time working with me, but beyond that. And that's what's so cool about this work is like, once you have these tools, once you have this community that you're in, it makes it so much easier to continue to do the work and really propel you to even more confidence and living your life unapologetically. So the next cycle of You on Fire It starts on November 11th. And if you're listening to this episode and you've missed that cycle, it's not too late to get on the wait list for the next time around, which will be probably sometime in the spring. And you can get all the details for You on Fire at summerinnanen.com/You on Fire. And you can get on the wait list there if you missed this cycle. And if you haven't, you're listening to this, then it's not too late to register. Enrollment closes on November 9th. And for those of you that are wondering what You on Fire is, what I'm talking about, You on Fire is the 12-week online group coaching program that gives you a step-by-step way of building up self-worth beyond your gene size with personalized coaching from me and lifetime access to the program. So you can break out of the diet culture cage, get free from body shame, and live your fiery-free, untamed life. Yes! In You on Fire, you learn how to have untamed confidence and liberate yourself from the culturally imposed temptations to diet and be thinner. You learn that you are good enough and you learn how to know that you're good enough and how to turn down the criticizing, all or nothing, control freak, perfectionist voice in your head that makes you feel less than. You learn how to accept and feel comfortable in your body, be okay with a full body photo, wear your bathing suit to the beach, and see your reflection without doing a body scan. You learn how to give way less fucks about what other people think of you and get rid of comparisons to other people. And you figure out what really sets your soul on fire now that dieting and weight loss aren't cramping your mental space. And that's really cool. You'll hear in these stories about all the cool things that people have been able to do now that they have reclaimed that time and energy. And overall, you learn how to cultivate your inner rampant untamability. Yes. So you can wear, say, and do anything you want. All the links mentioned in this show, including details on You on Fire, are at summerinnanen.com/152. I've been running You on Fire for 5 years, and every year I'm blown away by the transformations that take place. And as you'll hear throughout these stories, it's not about them liking the way they look. It's about them transforming their outlook on life and believing that they are worthy. Let's get started. The way I recorded these episodes is a little different than the way I've done them in the past. Normally what I've done is I've sat down and individually done interviews with each of the people separately. Because I had some circumstances in my life, my dad passed away really suddenly. My timeline got crunched quite a bit because I took some time off and still require intermittent periods of space. And so as a result, what I did was I recorded these in small groups, well, in duos. And Evelyn, the first person that you're going to hear here, yes, that makes sense. She was sick the day that we were supposed to record with the other two people, Lucienne and Anna, who you'll hear next. And what she did, which was just so generous of her, was she recorded her answers herself and sent them. And so this is a little more of just her telling her story for 10 minutes versus me interviewing her, but she's answering the questions that I asked everybody else. And Evelyn did the program with me in 2017. And she's been just an all-star. It's been so amazing to see how far she's come. And she quit her full-time job, and now she's a coach that helps women with perfectionism, which was like a lifelong dream of hers to be able to do. And so it's just so cool when she talks about how much more mental space she has now that she's not dieting and fixating on her body. This is Evelyn's story.
Hi there, my name is Evelyn, and I'm a 32-year-old woman from the Netherlands. And yeah, so I found Summer online, obviously, and I was struck immediately by her different message. It was the first time I ever heard that there was something possible called body positivity. I'd never heard of it before. I think I actually Googled something about the paleo diet because that was something I was into. And I came across Summer, started following her blogs, and just a whole new world and a whole new perspective opened up for me. So my frustrations with my body before You on Fire were that I was always so afraid to gain weight because I had really bought into this belief that, you know, being bigger, being fat was bad and made you a less attractive person. I had never really been fat in the sense of the word that people would, you know, tell me that I was fat or something like that. But I was always afraid to gain weight because I had gained some weight over the years. And I always felt horrible about that. And I always felt like I was less attractive than when I was skinnier. And the way that it really showed up for me, the way that it really came into my life was that I started manipulating what I ate. So I became really, really strict with myself about what were healthy foods, what were unhealthy foods. And, I'm a huge fan of chocolates and sweets and stuff like that, but I would always feel this guilt when I'd have my way with them. So there would usually be a long period of time where I wouldn't eat any of that bad, quote unquote, stuff, those bad foods. And then once I got a hold of it, I would just eat the whole thing. I would just eat the whole bar of chocolate and cookies and, everything else. Or for example, when I was at a party and there were foods that I would normally consider to be bad or unhealthy, I would just, have my way with them and I couldn't even stop eating them. And a moment that I really realized that this was not okay and that it was taking over so much of my life and taking up so much space in my head was when I had some vanilla ice cream in the freezer, and I literally kept going back and forth for half an hour between, am I going to have this ice cream? Yes or no? I mean, I want it, but, it's not good. It's bad food. And I wanted to lose weight, right? Or I wanted to be healthy. So I shouldn't be doing this, right? And then going back and forth. And all of a sudden I realized I was thinking about this stupid question for over half an hour. And I was like, this is taking over my life. And I don't even know if I knew back then the things that I would have room for and I would have space for if I could break this pattern. But I did know that I wanted help with this because I had been trying to do this by myself, by reading Summer's blogs, by listening to her podcasts, watching videos on this topic, etc., following other Instagram body positivity people. And, that had helped a bit for sure, but still I couldn't quite get through my guilt for eating something that felt bad to me, that felt unhealthy to me. So I decided, okay, I'm going to get help. I'm going to, allow myself to be helped by someone who's further along in this journey than I am, someone who has struggled with exactly the same problem and is now at a place where she's at peace with her body and at peace with her food choices and everything around that. So I just really desperately wanted that peace and quiet of mind. And oh my God, I can't even express how grateful I am to Summer for helping me navigate through this, because I noticed within the first conversations, within the first coaching calls, that I changed. I changed for the better. And yeah, like within 2 or 3 months, my whole life felt so radically different. And like I said, it has opened up so much mental space, so much energy, because you're not wasting energy on just constantly thinking about what is healthy, what am I going to eat next, what am I going to do for lunch, or, or just ruminating about the way you look or stuff like that. And I'm so grateful because actually this has opened up the way for me to start my own coaching business. So right now I'm a coach for perfectionist women, because for me, this was definitely part of a perfectionistic pattern. And it was something that I'd learned how to deal with in regards to work, but Summer has definitely helped me overcome that last hurdle of perfectionism when it came to food and my body. And I'm just so freaking grateful because right now I'm doing this full time, and I tell everyone, every webinar I give, every free online workshop I give, I tell everyone I could not be doing this today. I could not be coaching other women today. I could not be running my business today if it weren't for that decision that I made those years ago by working with Summer, because that has just opened up so much space, so much time, and I'm just forever grateful. Yeah, and just how it feels is it's so much more peaceful. It's so much more quiet in my mind. I'm so much more happy, and also I'm a lot nicer, and that sounds very anti-feminist. Like, women have to be nice. And I don't mean it in that sense, but I mean it because I was so strict for myself that I had less capacity to be just nice and kind to others around me. And by letting go of those restrictions on myself, I've actually been able to be so much kinder and more appreciative of the people around me. And I've heard it from so many people around me that, oh, you've become so much calmer, so much friendlier. And yeah, that's just so amazing because that's the way I want to show up in the world every day. So one piece of advice I'd give other women going through this same experience that I've been going through: please, 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 please get some help. Please, if you can in any way afford this, please go get yourself some help, preferably with Summer, of course, because I just know the worth that she gives in her program. She's just the best coach ever. Of course, I'm a great coach as well, but she's the best. And yeah, for me, a huge hurdle was the investment, right? The money that was involved in making this decision. And of course, I can't look into anyone else's wallet or, I don't know what your situation is like. But for me, I was just not used at that point in time to spend so much money on something that was so, I don't know, is a little bit abstract maybe. So maybe you think, what can an online coaching program do for me, right? I mean, if we spend the same amount of money going on a holiday, we're usually fine. If we spend the same amount of money buying a couch or anything, I'm just saying, these are more known ways to spend your money. And somehow we feel like that's more acceptable. But there came a time for me when I had to ask myself, okay, but what is the one thing I would really, really want in my life? And for me, that was that peace and quiet around food and around my body. And so I found it really scary to invest that money in myself. But once I'd done it and once I'd seen the results, right now, I'm like, oh my gosh, I would have gladly forked over 3 or 4 or 5 times the amount of money that Summer asks, because it's not a lot. When you see how much it changes in your life on a day-to-day basis, it's not something that's nice for once and then, you go back to your old life. It's something that has the potential to change your life. And yeah, I'm just really fired up about this program and about Summer's coaching. So definitely recommend it. And yay. Right now, I'm actually, in every webinar, I tell people about Summer because I'm so grateful for everything she's done. And thank you so much, Summer. And to everyone who's still on the fence, if there's any way you can afford this, please get yourself this help because it really has the potential to change your life. Bye-bye.
I was really blown away when I listened to the recording that Evelyn sent me. It was just so generous and kind, and I had goosebumps, and it came on such a good day for me because I'd been having a really rough morning with grief and was just feeling really down, and listened to what she had to say. And then I was really motivated to get working on some of this stuff again. So it just made me feel really good on the inside. And I hope it inspires you because that's really the point of me sharing it. The next up, I sat down with Lucienne and Anna, who Lucienne did the program in 2017, I believe, as well. Anna did the program in 2018, and they have both come leaps and bounds from where they were when they started. Both of them had eating disorders that they struggled with throughout most of their lives, like from when they were teenagers onward. And they had done the work to recover from the eating disorders, but both of them, the reason why they signed up for the program was because they still really struggled with the body image piece. And so that was resulting in them still not fully trusting themselves around food, which is really common. To really let go around food, we have to do this body image piece. And so these are their stories.
Welcome to the show, both of you, Anna and Lucienne. Thank you so much for being here. Anna, why don't you start by telling everyone just a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I did You on Fire in, I think it was 2018. And at the time, I was just struggling a lot with body image issues. and eating disorder. And really, You on Fire had a huge impact on me. And at the time too, I was working in a really shitty job, and now a lot of changes have happened, but a lot of like the catalyst behind these changes has come from the work I did in You on Fire. So yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to just tell everyone, because they can't see you, where you were located, and just like, yeah, you can say your age if you want to, but just
Sure.
a little piece of it.
Yeah. So I'm living in Denmark right now. I just moved here 4 months ago to work at Lego Toys. I'm working in 3D printing. Lego is doing a new thing where they're starting to 3D print their bricks, which is so exciting.
Cool.
And that is a little about me.
Nice. And Lucienne, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about you?
Yeah, hi. I'm happy to. I don't actually remember when I did the program. I think it may have been 3 years ago already.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was in 2017. Yeah.
Yeah, I had suffered from bulimia for, I don't know, maybe like 40 years. And I had lots of therapy. I got better at quite some things, but the food thing was still a problem. And the body image thing was a problem. And I don't even remember how I came across your program, but I thought this sounds like someone who speaks my language, not being English, but raw, raw and real kind of thing. And not that, So I thought I need to do the program, and that actually, well, we'll get into that later. But one of the best things I did for me ever, maybe. I currently live in the Netherlands. I work as a researcher and a lecturer in several fields. One of them at the moment being positive health, which is really interesting coming from this perspective of the You on Fire program. So lots of work still to do.
Yeah.
In that area. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and it's not like I don't find age very interesting in itself, but I'll say I'm 55 at the moment. So I was 52 when I did the program, and I'll just say that because people may think, well, I'm too old now to be bothered with stuff like that, and I'll just sort of have to sit it out till the end in diet culture. But no, you don't have to, even after so many years of eating disorders or other things. It can still get better.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. Thank you. Thank you for adding that. And you've done such great work with like age positivity and things like that as well, which we can talk about in a bit. So I know you both kind of touched on it, but we can circle back around. And if there's anything you want to add, but Anna, do you want to just talk about some of the frustrations that you had with your body before you did the program?
So I really, I had a lot of issues specifically with like how round my face was. And, even looking in a mirror or like really any image of myself that I didn't like, it would just send me into spirals and like wanting to diet and wanting to just like go to sleep and, not wake up. And it's just, so I just was super, super detached from any like real logical thinking about my worth and how my worth was attached to my body. And it was a huge energy suck from just like really living a full life. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I remember you, like, it was really stopping you from kind of being more social and doing things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to just touch on that?
Thanks. It got to this degree where I really, I wasn't seeing friends I hadn't seen since I was much thinner, because there was like kind of a period of time where I had gained a certain amount of weight that even one friend told me once that I was irrecognizable between what I looked like at one point and how I look now. And so, it would just cause me so much like mental pain to think of like going to see friends who I loved. And not super healthy.
Yeah. And I mean, we're going to get to it, but like, you've just come so far. So,
Yep.
Lucienne, do you want to talk about some of the frustrations that you had with your body before we started working together?
Yes, yes. I do recognize what Anna just said. So that must be relatable to lots of people with these problems. But it was also like that I not only being like detached from your body in that sense that you don't actually feel any, like normal, you don't know how to process feelings. And I saw my body as something that did not comply to like the rules and that I could not trust around food. And I very much looked at it in parts, like not as a whole or me as a whole being, but like different parts that I didn't like or that weren't right.
Yeah.
I did give up like many years ago already standing on scales at all because I just could not deal with that. So that was not a problem in itself, but yeah, what was it I wanted to say? I do recognize that like not wanting to go to parties or being very focused on food because I was in some way dieting or lifestyling or whatever it was called was my way to deal with stress. And like if I would go to town, I would know that, oh, I don't want to go there because there's a bakery on that corner and there's like a snack bar on that corner and, all the food. Whereas normal people don't even realize that these places are there. It was like sort of a minefield full of food selling places that I didn't, want to go into or eat the food for. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So very tiring and something that would take up most of my energy, I reckon. And also what I really suffered from was thinking that other people were better people because they were thin.
Yeah.
So I would see myself as a lesser person. So if we would be in an argument with someone that intellectually or whatever, I know that I would be right. I would get like cowed by, but they're thin, so that must be better, and I should just shut up.
Wow. Well, and I think that's how we're conditioned to feel, right? That thinner equals better, and better in every aspect of our personality because it means you're more worthy. But so I think a lot of people can probably relate to that, even on a subconscious level. I think some of us probably have experienced some level of being smaller because we've just felt less than within our bodies.
Yeah.
So Anna, what are some of the things that you've been able to do since the program?
Yeah, so many things. Like I wasn't going out to clubs or doing things, a lot of things socially that like at nightlife that I like if I felt like I had to be a certain weight to go to this club and actually enjoy myself, those kind of stupid things. And so since the program, really I've just challenged all of the assumptions by doing the thing. So like I would go to a club and by myself, the help of the support group through the You on Fire program, like the women in the support group and you, and just like, so I wouldn't do things that I hadn't done since I was thinner. So like go to a club or, go into these spaces that thin privilege is really prominent. So, I started going to a club or like I just go out at night and by myself. And then that trickled into, seeing friends I hadn't seen in 3 years. And I, ones locally and even doing like a week in Colorado. And I am a super antisocial person. So for me to even like go that degree out of my comfort zone, like especially in that current or that body, like I just, You on Fire gave me the tools and support to do that. And, so many things, or even just going to I love rock climbing and, I would start going once a week and ask somebody to help climb or belay me. And really it was I was doing literally nothing, after work every day to really starting to cultivate a very colorful life. Yeah, in a nutshell.
Yeah, and well, recently you mentioned the presentation too that you gave, and just feeling really confident about that.
Yeah. Oh man. So even I had the last time I was in You and Fire, I was in this job I didn't really like, and so since then I moved from New York to Denmark, and work for Lego, and I still bring with me all these insecurities around at least performance, and to work with Summer and in helping with my presentation skills. Sorry, I'm not, but basically. I've just had to do a lot of work to build my confidence, and a lot of like the confidence stemmed from like feeling secure in my body first. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Can I ask you, like, what's it like with seeing yourself in pictures now? Because I know that was a really tender spot.
Sure. Oh man. Well, today was perfect, right? Because I had to review a video of the presentation I had given. And typically I would see a picture and again, just like go down the rabbit hole, like I look like this and people aren't going to respect me because of X, Y, and Z. But now it's just, I feel complete neutrality with what I was looking at. And I was like starting to critique like parts of how, I could improve this bit of my presentation. I can improve that. And I was looking at the content rather than how I looked. And for that not to trigger me is like so huge. And I wouldn't have been able to do that. Yeah, my God.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like, that's amazing. Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad I asked. That's amazing. Yay. That's huge. Yeah. Right. Way to go. Way to go.
Thanks.
How does all that feel?
Damn. So like literally Summer, I'd been struggling with an eating disorder since I was 13, and going in and out of treatment, even like outpatient treatment. And, because eating disorders are so heavily tied to fat phobia, to see an image and for it to not send me down that road, I can't tell you the impact it's had on my life and the energy and just who I am as a person and not as like a body that meets a certain convention. Like I can't even express the freedom in myself that it's given to me. I don't have words, but it feels really good.
That's great. That's good. Oh, thank you. Well, I'm super proud of you. That's like just phenomenal. That's so great. Yeah. Lucienne, why don't you talk a little bit about some of the things that you've been able to do since the program?
Yeah, it's really like I can so relate when I hear Anna talking because there are so many things you have time and energy for once you stop that dieting and worrying about everything to do with weight and looks. It's amazing. So I'll mention a few. Like, well, obviously the most important one was to be able to separate worth and worthiness from weight and looks in general. I might have mentioned it while I was still on the program, but I was like, okay, so I'll do this. And aging at the same time, which is just like weight, a big thing.
Yeah.
And I see many women that are like late 40s and, well, up until 70 who get even more into that whole wellness, dieting. I need to keep thin and my looks and put on the right makeup. And I don't know, they get more into it. It sort of seems to me. So now I see that, but I don't feel like I need to get involved with it. I feel like I'm free, like, okay, well, I don't have to get into that. Good for you. So that was a major thing that really strengthened me in dealing with all that shit you get. Because when you are like, well, I say older, like I don't feel, as I say, age is not a thing, but apparently as soon as you reach around 50, you get all these messages from society, like about the rule. You get like, you're supposed to have age appropriate hair and age appropriate clothes and age appropriate makeup and God knows what else. I have no clue. But, I don't feel that has anything to do with me at all.
That's great.
So that was one of the things. I trust my body more. I've actually been wearing a bikini to the beach, which I hadn't done in like 20 years.
Wow, that's awesome. Fantastic.
Not that that's like important, but it felt really good. And I'm in all my travel pics now. I travel a lot and I never wanted to be in any pictures. So I've been to all these amazing places and have like maybe one picture that actually might show that I was there. So, pictures are a lot better. And that was one, I think it's one of the bonus things in the course, the Vivian McMaster
Yes.
thing. Yeah. So I did like a training with her as well. And that was really tremendously helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So I got an Instagram account to with lots of pictures of me, not only of me. I also do street art, which I love, and travel pics, but I might be in a lot of them. And because I wanted to promote sort of age positivity,
Yes.
because I think it's really a pity that people don't want to be in pictures and keep involved in diet culture. And if they post a picture, it's like of their grandchildren or something, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, or the latest healthy food. I've been so good today, kind of thing.
Yes.
So yeah, so I'm having a lot of fun with that, and I started a Facebook group for fashionistas at HAES, which is a lot of fun. And actually, I asked when I wanted to do it because I got so irritated with people telling me like, "Oh well, I wouldn't wear that," or you know, "I would have put something dark with that," or whatever. That I thought I'll start my own group, and I asked around in the group, would people be interested? And some said, "Yeah, I would like a Facebook group like that, where you don't have people talking about is it flattering, meaning it does make you slimmer, look slimmer, or you know, younger, or whatever." And I actually got over 1,200 people in that group. So
oh wow, that's awesome.
Quite amazing, of literally all sizes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was really cool. And I finally got to dress again in the style that I like. So I think my style hasn't evolved much from when I was 13, actually, but who cares?
Yeah, that's great. That's amazing. And how does all that feel?
Yeah, it's great. It's great. And it's not that I feel like, I don't know, I love my body all the time or whatever. I
Yes.
still get to see pics where I think, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
that angle from that, you know, sitting down, whatever, I look like really, really big. But now, and then I still think, okay, you know, I would maybe prefer to be thinner or whatever. But it's like a fleeting thing. I think, you know, it's some frozen second in time. And I don't know, I don't care all that much about it.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's like as emotionally charged as it once would have been.
No, not anywhere close to what it was.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
You talked about like just having so much more time and energy. What's that like? Like, how does that feel for you?
Yeah, it's it's really good. I remember, as I said, I travel a lot. That I used to sometimes have these epiphanies when I was on a plane because I pretty much hate flying, and with every little air pocket, I'm afraid will like crash, whatever.
Yeah.
That bad. It doesn't help. Like I've flown a lot, and it doesn't help. Those will be moments where I think, gosh, what if we actually, you know, the plane crashes? And I've been spending so much time worrying about how fat my belly is or whatever. And it's so ridiculous. But then once we would have landed, that would be gone again. And I would just stress like, oh, we can't have the ice cream or whatever. I don't want to gain weight. Just having that mental space now to actually enjoy where I am or do things. I said I started art school. I'm second year art school at the moment.
That's
And
fantastic.
yeah, I love it. I never knew. I always thought that, and I'd say like I can't draw or paint or whatever. I never did anything with that. I never had any classes. And then I just thought, well, I think it's fun. I'm just gonna do it and see what it will, you know, will be like. And I'm much more focused on the process than on some end result. So, and it turned out I actually can do it, and I love it. So I
That's
thought I'm going to
amazing.
apply at art school, and they said I was afraid they were going to laugh at me, you know, me with my 1 year drawing all by myself. and I got there with my work, you know, the show, and they said, "Oh yeah, I think you can start in year 2." I was like, "Whoa, seriously?"
Look at you.
Yeah,
That's so cool. That's so cool.
And it may sound like it has nothing to do with something like body image, etc., but it's just having that mindset of giving it a go and not being worried about any outcome or a certain goal, you know, just like living and doing stuff. Yeah, because if you're not focused all the time, like I'm going to do it when I lose so many pounds or whatever, or fit into that dress that's been at the back of the closet for 10 years, or you know. And all of a sudden you can just go out and do stuff, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. And so cool that it seems like you just have lots of hobbies and interests, and that's just I love hearing that. Not that like people have to add more to their life to make it richer, but I think just showing that like you have energy for it, and and more mental space to be able to express and do things that are meaningful to you.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So, Anna, what's one piece of advice you'd give to other people going through a similar experience?
I would recommend people to do the thing that makes them feel super uncomfortable, whether like, in terms of do the thing that makes you feel super uncomfortable. So go to the club, see the person, do that crazy thing that you felt like you'd only have permission to do if you were thinner, and know that you're supported in that process. Know that you can text someone, be like, hey, I need to make that first step out the door, or while you're there. I just don't feel helpless to like the negative thoughts that you can have around your body. There's hope and there's support, and there is freedom and neutrality. That's what I would say. Yep.
Nice. Thank you. And Lucienne, what's your piece of advice?
Yeah, I already said that you're never too old to evolve in this area.
Yeah.
And I think actually that maybe for people that are, late 40s and older, it might be more important to work on this, because you get like young women get a lot of pressure, but older women get almost more pressure even, because they're not like promising anymore. And there's a lot of pressure on people in female bodies to adhere to standards like that, especially looks. And there is a thing in society that most people don't like to look at older people. They think, there's something wrong with them. Fat people, something wrong, and older people, there's something wrong. So if you see older models, who are used now, they're always thin, and have like, beautiful wavy gray hair, etc. Like they're like the perfect older women kind of thing.
Yes.
So I think it's really important to do this, to work on this, because it's like not too late. You can still enjoy so many years of freedom from this. And what I really like with the group, like I'm not really a group person all that much. I find it always a bit scary somehow, and I'm not quite sure that I get the rules, of a group. I seem to miss some of the cues often, but I find it very helpful and supportive with this, because if you give up dieting and all that, you're going against the grain of society, and you will get so many people trying to convince you you're on the wrong path and your health will suffer and I don't know what. And it's really, really helpful to have a group, that supports you in that. So in this case, that did really work for me. And I got actually some like lifelong friendships from the group I did this with.
Yeah. So, that's fantastic. I'm so glad you added that, and just the part about, not really being like a group person, but still getting so much out of that.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I find groups difficult. I'm better in like one-on-one,
Yeah, but you're like such a supportive member, so it's you're proving yourself wrong in this circumstance.
Maybe it's easier online,
Yeah, I think so.
Stuff. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you both so much for your time. Is there anything that you want to add before we wrap up here, Anna? Is there anything that you want to add?
I just want to give people so much credit for going through the journey and just opening themselves up to the possibility of changing their thoughts and increasing compassion with themselves. Yeah, it's huge, and I respect all of the actions toward that.
Yeah, I agree. It takes a lot of courage, right?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Well, I'm so grateful to you, and just always been really, really impressed with all the effort that you've put in, and all the outcomes that you've had as a result. Like just so cool to kind of be a part of your journey and see how it's evolved over the last year and a bit.
Oh, thanks, Summer.
Lucianne, anything else you want to add before we go?
No, I think I said everything I really wanted to say. It's just I'm really happy. Like I know you've been, getting involved with motherhood and all that, and I see interesting things happening with what you say about it. But I'm really happy to see you get back into this work because you're awesome at it. And
Thank you. Well, I missed you all. And Lucianne, like as well. It's just been so cool to witness your journey and see everything that's unfolded for you over the last few years. Like it just, I just feel really honored that you both trusted the process and trusted me. And I just feel so grateful that I've been able to witness everything that you've both been able to do. So thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for being open to it, being open to the challenges and the coaching and everything else. And for being here today and just telling everyone a little bit about how things have been for you the last couple years.
Okay, no worries.
Thank you. Well, thank you both so much. Rock on.
It was so great to catch up with both of them and hear how far they've both come in this, and hear them talk about doing things for the first time and how that's made an impact on their life. It's so incredible, and I'm so proud of them both. Next up, I sat down with Rochelle and Megan, and coincidentally, they had some similarities in their stories too, in that they both had moms who put a lot of pressure on them to be in a smaller body when they were growing up. And that really shaped their relationship with food and the relationship with their bodies. And it's the reason why they both opted in to work with me was to really overcome that body shame that they had been carrying. And what you'll hear Megan talk about is how this impacted her pregnancy and postpartum. So when we worked together back in 2016, I think it was, she didn't have any kids and she wasn't married. And since the program, she's gotten married and had a baby. And so she talks about how the work she did in this program really helped with the pregnancy and postpartum timeframe. And Rochelle did the program in 2017, I believe, as well. And she talks about just how it wasn't really about her body and it was about all these other things that were going on, and how she's really been able to let go of the people-pleasing tendencies to live her life. Here are their stories.
Well, welcome, Megan and Rochelle. I'm so happy to chat with you again. It's been like years. I can think we can say years since we really talked to each other, right? It's been a while.
Yep, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Yes,
well,
it has. Yeah, it has been a while.
Yeah, and so much has changed. Well, welcome. And for the people who are listening, they obviously don't know you. So Megan, why don't you introduce yourself first, and then Rochelle, you can introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Megan McGee. I am 29 years old. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania in the United States. I did one-on-one body coaching with Summer, and then I also did the You're on Fire program. I have been overweight or had weight issues my entire life, and body image was a huge issue for me, and it's pretty much been my entire life. Since doing the program, I've had a baby and gotten married, and so it's been a crazy few years, but yeah. And I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing, so I travel for work, which is crazy, but I enjoy it, and I love my kids.
Nice. Well, it's so nice to see you. And I know you use the word overweight, so I'm going to put that in quotation marks because people can't see. Because we know how we feel about that word.
Yeah.
And Rochelle, how about you? Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name's Rochelle. I, as you can probably tell by my accent, live in Australia. So I live here with my husband and my dog, and also a lot of indoor plants. And yeah, I did the program with you, I'm going to say 2 years ago,
Yeah. I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah. And this isn't your first rodeo. You were on the podcast the last time you did it, which I think was, I feel like it was 2017.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I think so too. I should have looked before, but I think it was 2017. Cool. Well, I'm so happy to have you. So, the purpose of this, as I said, was like I would love to do a catch up, like to see where people are, like just a few years down the line, because I think that, that some of this stuff, like it really sticks with us, some of the lessons that you've learned and some of the things that you've done. And so it's cool to kind of catch up and see, because, it's like, not like a before and after, but like an after, like in the long term, like, what's really changed for you. And so I think that'll be cool to share with others. So let's jump in and give a little bit of background to people. Megan, why don't you start first and just talk a little bit about like what were some of the frustrations that you had with your body before you did You on Fire?
Before I did You on Fire, it was a lot of, I was frustrated because I would, gain weight and lose weight. It never seemed like I got that, perfect body, in quotations.
Mm-hmm.
Always felt like I was never good enough. It didn't matter what I did or what I ate or anything. My body was never good enough. And it was just that constant like war with my body. And that was a lot of that was very frustrating before I did the program.
Yeah. And so like how long did you feel that way? Like, were you like, I can't remember, like, were you kind of one of those people that had been dieting since you were really young, or were those body frustrations newer for you?
They were my entire life. I have a parent who is the opposite end of me and is extremely skinny and doesn't have any issues and would get on, and of course as I love my mother, but it was my mother, and she would get on my case and like always be like I'd have cookies at Christmas time. What's the thing? You got to have cookies at Christmas. And she would be like, are you sure you want to eat all those? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, yeah, it's Christmas time. Like, I want to eat all those. And I love her. And I know it was out of love. I can see that now. It took a while, but that mm-hmm. she was looking out for my health at that point. But at the same time, it always made me think like, is this ever going to be enough for you? Is this ever going to be enough for anybody? She encouraged me to do all the different diet programs and, just eat this way and eat that way. And it was like, okay. And I would do them and then I would lose the weight and then, I'd have some emotional event and gain it all back. And that was the end. And then she'd be like, well, you just have to go back to it. And it's like, I just don't want to. But yeah, that was a lot of the frustration, but it had been my entire life.
Yeah. Well, and it's so hard, like, when you have a parental figure influencing you that way, it just makes you think that, thinner is better. And so you think, okay, well, thinner means I'm going to be more lovable, more desirable. And, I shouldn't be eating these foods. Like, that's where we develop all those beliefs. And it's so hard to break free from that.
Definitely. Yeah. And that was definitely the struggle for the longest time. And it took a lot of effort on my part to get past a lot of that. But that was the big issue.
Good. Yeah. What about you, Rochelle? What were some of the frustrations that you had before?
Yeah, well, just a very similar story, actually. I always, as far as I can remember, I've always had body image issues. Again, critical parents as well. And a mother who was very thin and just, couldn't, I think to her, like me being bigger felt like some kind of failing on her part.
Yeah.
I think, which is why she gave me such a hard time in hindsight. Yeah. And then looking back at photos, I'm like, I was just a normal kid. So it still blows my mind. But anyway, just dealing with that and then just constantly comparing myself to other people and just never happy with myself. And I didn't really start dieting until later in life when I was probably, I don't know, in my early 20s. And lost all the weight, thought that would solve all my problems and didn't really. And being like, once I stopped that, like I think I'm more at peace with myself. I'm a much larger person than I ever was when I was thin. So it's been an interesting journey.
Yeah. Well, I think both of your stories are probably resonating with a lot of people. I think so many of us had that upbringing where, often our mom, but, often a parental figure kind of influences the way that we end up feeling about ourselves. And it's tough. And it really kind of imprints us with these feelings that we have about our bodies. But, you've both like done so much work to rewire those things and start to believe different things for yourselves. So I'm really proud of both of you for doing that. So let's talk about since the program, what are some things that you're proud of? Megan, we'll throw it back to you to start this one. What are some of the things that you've been able to do? I know obviously like you went through a whole pregnancy and postpartum, but I'll let you take it away.
The biggest thing was definitely dealing with pregnancy and the postpartum period. So I got pregnant in December of last year, and it was tough because being a bigger person, the doctors would constantly say like, oh, you're at risk for this and you're at risk for that. And I'm like, why do you say that? Well, your weight. Okay, but I'm a healthy person otherwise. So like I had to say, I really like, because of the program, I was able to be like, okay, that's your justification. Well, on you. Like, no, like I was just like they were afraid of. Now, one of the things that did happen to me was during labor, which they had to induce me due to the fact that my blood pressure skyrocketed. Yeah. And one of the big things that they had told me throughout my pregnancy is, oh, well, you're at risk for preeclampsia. And so I was like, okay, it was like, why are you saying that? Because I didn't have high blood pressure throughout the pregnancy. It only happened at the very end. And they blamed everything on my weight. Yeah. And I was just like, it was a big F you, people. Like, that is not the problem. If I'm going to get preeclampsia, it has nothing to do with the size of my body. And I did end up getting it, but it was like at the very end, I gave birth at 37 weeks because they had to bring my blood pressure down. And then that was a crazy thing. But going through that experience, if I had not done the program, I would have been attempting to lose weight while pregnant. I can be perfectly honest about that. And I was able to say, I'm pregnant. I don't care. Yeah. My body is doing something incredible by creating a child who is adorable. Yeah. And, I was able to put that all in perspective. And even now in the postpartum period, I've been able to be a lot kinder with myself, like they always say, I'm sure, Summer, I know you had a baby recently, so that, get your body back, in quotations. And it's like, no, I'm happy. My body just birthed a child, so I'm good with it.
Good for you.
But I was able to be a lot kinder and like take my time and like understand that I did have to have a C-section. So my recovery was a lot harder. It was major surgery. Mm-hmm. And I was able to say, because, you want to do everything for the baby. You want to try to be there all the time. I was able to say to my husband, I really need you to do that. And take a step back and be like, appreciate like my body was healing and like really appreciate what my body had just done for 8.5 months, and really take that back. And before the program, I don't think I would have been capable of any of that.
Yeah. And that's so amazing. Cause I know the pressure when you're pregnant to like watch the weight gain and everything else. And what you experienced specifically in terms of that weight discrimination and with the pregnancy, like that stuff is just so rampant. And I think it takes a lot of courage to be able to stand up for yourself at the doctor's office like that. And to really like not fall into those old dieting behaviors. Like that shows me that like, that's like a hell of a lot of strength that took for you, to do that. And postpartum too, like it's, you're inundated with it, and all the mom groups, like everyone's talking about that stuff. And it's like, it's really hard not to kind of let it shake your confidence and make you think like, oh, maybe I should be thinking about these things. And so, that's just a testament to like how deep this stuff is in your bones now and like how resilient you really are to all that messaging. Like that's really amazing. I'm really, really happy for you.
Yeah. Like I said, I just don't think I would have been able to do that if I hadn't done the program. I know that I would have spiraled back into dieting, and I am pumping for my baby. He was not able to breastfeed. So so what we say in the pumping world, we call it direct breastfeeding. So I'm indirectly breastfeeding by pumping, mm-hmm. which feels like sucking the life out of you. But I know I am able, it's funny because like I appreciate every ounce and everything that like my body is giving for my baby. And I'm now actually I'm weaning because I ended up getting a new job, and so I have to go back to work a little bit earlier than I initially planned. Yeah. And so I'm weaning off the pump, but I'm still like look at what my body just did for 2.5 months.
Yeah.
It provided milk, and we've had to supplement, but it's like, it's still providing for him, and it's really cool. But like I said, I would not have been able to enjoy it as much as I have without doing all the work that I did prior to getting pregnant.
Oh, that's so amazing. And so how does that feel for you to kind of be in that place?
It feels really good because I really don't think I would have enjoyed motherhood as much as I've been able to. And they call the first 3 months, and I agree, the fourth trimester. And it really is. It's sleep deprivation. It's frustrating. It's, you don't always know what they want. And to just, to not have to worry about, not thinking about the minute I give birth, oh, what diet plan should I try to lose the baby weight?
Mm-hmm.
It's no. What does my baby need? Like, what does, my body just did an incredible thing and made this kid, but I got to take care of it now. And I don't care what my body looks like. I have worn sweatpants for 2.5 months.
Yes.
And my husband doesn't care.
Yeah. I did the same thing.
Yeah. It's like, I have worn sweatpants. I don't care. Like, it's like, before I would have nitpicked, like, oh, you have to have like all your nice clothes on. It's like, no, I'm at home feeding a child, working, doing that, and I just get to enjoy him. And that's been the biggest thing, is getting to enjoy my son.
Amazing. Oh, that's so amazing. I'm so happy to hear that. And Rochelle, like, what about you? What's changed for you since the program, or what have you been able to do?
I think one of the biggest things throughout the program was realizing how much of the work I had to do was not actually about my body.
Yeah.
And it was more. So for me, setting up boundaries really helped me a lot, especially with family members that triggered a lot of nasty thoughts, negative thoughts in me. I just don't have those conversations anymore. I shut it down, and people just don't talk about certain things to me anymore. So that's really good. That's really helped my mental health.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah. And I'm just not such a people pleaser anymore as well. That was such a big thing for me.
Yeah.
As a result, I guess just not caring what people think of me, really, to be honest. Yeah. So it's been really good.
Those are huge. Those are like really big things. I know they seem like little, but honestly, like setting boundaries, not caring what other people think, not being such a people pleaser, like those are huge.
Yeah, no, it's been good. Definitely a different person. Well, same person, but I've changed a lot.
More of you, though, if you're not being a people pleaser, like, you're like the version of you, but like a take no shit version of you.
Yeah.
That's what I see. And do you feel like that's like continued to just, improve, or like over the couple of years since you did the program? Like,
yeah, definitely. I think like with my work as well, sort of speaking up for myself a bit more and that kind of thing. And I'm enjoying work a lot more than I used to as well, and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah.
But, I guess in terms of body stuff as well, I did also recently, my friend is a photographer, and we did a photo shoot with my plants, and there may have been some half nakedness going on. So
yes,
I've never done that before.
Yes. What was that like?
It was good. It was really fun because it was a close friend, and so I didn't really care about getting my top off in front of her. It was just a lot of fun, and embracing myself, I guess.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Yeah. Would you have imagined that you would have been able to do that before?
Oh God, no way.
That's fantastic. Anything else?
Oh, I don't know. That's nothing I can think of.
I mean, that's a big one.
Sure,
that's a big one. Yeah. No. I just didn't want to cut you off if you weren't done. So how does all that feel for you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, really good. I mean, it's not like there's still not struggles.
Yeah.
But overall, just feeling more at peace with myself and getting on with life.
Yeah,
really.
That's what it's all about. Yeah, that's what it's all about. I mean, there's always still going to be struggles, like, for sure. But that's honestly, like, the way you framed it is so accurate to what it is really all about. It's like just getting on with life, and like there's still going to be some struggles, but hopefully it's just not as intense as it was before, and it doesn't stop you from really like doing the things that you want to do.
Yeah, and I think, sometimes you catch yourself thinking something negative, but I guess, it's sort of got the tools now to recognize that and not dwell on it. Just, allows you to move on.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So like, as we kind of wrap this up, I would love for you to give one piece of advice to the people listening. So Megan, we'll throw it back to you again. What piece of advice do you want to give?
I think the biggest piece of advice I can give is to trust in yourself. You know yourself better than anybody, and don't let other people dictate what you think about yourself. I've spent a long time letting, my mom and letting like every girlfriend I had and everybody dictating all my ex-boyfriends, what I was. And then I did this work and I realized, I knew myself all along. There was nothing wrong with me. It was me all along, which that's all I can say is that you do really know yourself. Don't let everybody dictate to you, what you are, you're supposed to be an elementary school teacher. I'm not an elementary school teacher. I decided I didn't want to be one. I changed my major. And in the end, when I was going through the program, the biggest thing was I was learning so much about me that I already knew deep down, but you were able to bring back up through the different things that we did, and that made all the difference.
Nice. Amazing. That's so good. I love that. Yeah. And you had such a good quote there. I feel like it needs to be on a pillow or something, but I can't remember specifically what it was, but I'll highlight it. But just the things you said there, that was really, really good to hear. What about you, Rochelle? What's a piece of advice that you have?
I think just don't waste your time and energy on negative thoughts about your body and your worth. You're worthy of love and respect and deserve to be at peace with your body.
Yeah. Yes. Both of those could be on pillows. We'll start like an Etsy store with our embroidered pillows with inspirational quotes. No, that's great. That's so good. And people really need to hear that they are worthy, and, not to waste their time on it. But, it's one of those things that's easier said than done. But you've both really shown that it's possible to, reclaim some of that time and really advocate for yourself. Like both of you, I'm just like, this is awesome to hear from you and just kind of catch up after a couple of years. It's really cool to see like that things have really still stuck and you're still just doing your thing and living your life. And obviously, Megan, you've gone through like a massive, massive life change, but so cool to hear how that was applicable there. And yeah, Rochelle, like just hearing you still living your life, doing a half naked photo shoot with your plants, like that's really awesome too. As you do, why not? Plants are huge right now. Well, thank you both so much. Is there anything that either of you want to say before we wrap it up?
Do the program. Just do it. Just do it. Spend the money. Do it. Please do it.
Thanks,
it's worth it.
Thank you. I didn't prompt you to say that, by the way. But thank you.
I know, but like,
I appreciate it.
If I hadn't done the program, I'd be in such a different place. And I'm forever grateful to you, and for doing this work, and for whatever podcast I found you through. Like I just do it. It's worth it. It's worth the money. You will thank yourself in. Let's see, it's probably been since 2017, so at least 2 years.
Yeah.
You'll thank yourself for doing it later.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm just so happy for you, and just like really, really proud of you. Really proud of you. Both of you. Yeah. Anything else that you want to say before we wrap it up?
Just thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. This made my day. Yay. Well, I'm so grateful. Thank you both so much for being here. Rock on.
It was so great to catch up with both Megan and Rochelle and hear about all the stuff that that they've done and just how they give way less fucks about other things. Just so cool. Every day I am just so grateful that I get to do this work and be with people like you and like the women that you heard here today. I hope that you hear your story and parts of theirs, because I think it just gives you hope and inspiration when you know that someone else who's been there has gotten through to the other side. I really know and believe that you are strong. You are strong as fuck because you've existed in this culture, and you do have the courage and strength to do the work and make it to a place where you really don't think about your body so much anymore and you just live your life. It just really warms my heart and gives me goosebumps to see people dropping all the expectations and just becoming more of themselves and having more joy and more freedom in their lives. It's incredible. And I don't mean to make it sound like rainbows and fairies, like as you heard some of them mention. It's not like that. They still have bad body days. They still have bad moments, but they have tools to work through them. And it's not as negatively emotionally charged as it once was before. It would be an honor for me to be your guide, to be your coach, and to help you through this. So if you have any kind of interest in doing You on Fire, don't wait. We start November 11th. Doors close November 9th. I would love, love, love to be your coach in this. And if you miss that, get on the wait list for the next cycle. Go to summerinanin.com/You on Fire, but don't wait. Like, do it now. Why wait a few more months? Just dive in and do it. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I really, really appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you backstage at You on Fire. Okay, rock on. I'm Summer Inanen, and I want to thank you for listening today. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Summer Inanen. If you haven't yet, go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe, rate, and review this show. I would be so grateful. Until next time, rock on.